Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Hope you are doing well. So today we are going to discuss on the AWS code pipeline. In last video we have set up AWS ECS with ECR using task, and then we set up a service. So in this topic we are discuss on how we can be automated a build process and then execute the deployment and delivery part using AWS deployment tools. So this is the again a part of the AWS code pipeline series. So let's start with AWS code pipeline. So first we discuss why we need a deployment automation. So as we all know, in today's scenario, we also all need automation, as because no one is been followed the classic version, as we already discussed on our previous videos. So deployment process also being automated. So now deployment become much less error prone and much more repeatable. Every day we need to release 2, 3, 4, 5, depend on the client's requirement and the project requirement. We need to release multiple things to the deployment. So we need to make that deployment process very repeatable, and it should be error prone. Anyone in the team can deploy the software. Third, engineers spend their time to developing their software rather than think on the whether the deployment will work or not. It should be not having the error issue, create an error on the live production build. So engineers are more focused on the development part. Deploying to somewhere new is not headache. If we talk about the classic version of deployment, we need to think 3 to 4 or 5 times before process with the new thing deployment. Here we are not thinking more on the new deployment because we already know the because we release more frequent way as compared to the classic way. You can release more frequently. CI/CD aims to introduce the automation to deployment process and release software very frequently and reliably. So that's why we gradually adopt the part of the CI/CD, because it's become less headache to reduce the stress when we release the new changes. What is CI/CD? Actually, many of the students or many of the newcomer comes with I want to be in DevOps, and they think only CI/CD, and they think that CI/CD is simpler called automation release. So actually it divided into two terms. First one is CI, which is called continuous integration, and second is CD, continuous delivery or continuous deployment. So CI is basically when any developer change the code and publish it to the master or the main or the any branch which is considered as the master branch of the source code. It will create a build. It will validate the source code with different software like SonarQube or any test case you build using custom cell or anyway. It will validate that particular code and then create a build and ready for the deployment. Those part is considered under CI, and CD is there are two different terms. One is continuous delivery, it's ready to deliver, and second is continuous deployment. It will deploy your additional source code or updated source code to the infrastructure. That is called deployment. So here there are some the image which actually understand what is CI. In CI, developer commit the changes in frequent and several times a day to the code repository. In every code submission, automated build and unit tests are run. For example, if developer made 2 lines of change in, or we can say that, like, if we introduce this major release, then source code will change, validate the trigger. There is some automated changes, and then it will automatically build and create a build with run unit test, whether there is issue with the unit host or any bug or any issue will find with the Sonar Cube or any npm build or any Java test case. Then if it is failed with build, then again it went back to the developer. Again they change in with this change case, and then again they upload. So this is the continuous integration. Now next is continuous delivery. In continuous delivery, each code submission is a build, tested and deployed on non-production environment. Multiple tests can be run before the production. Usually when we go with the production, we need to run some test cases as well as some code validation and other stuff. So this delivery is prepare an environment and upload it to non-production environment. We usually call it alpha or staging or any name you can use. So here you can see source control being managed by the developer. It's automated, build, create a build and automated to staging environment. Here any of the QA team or anyone the person who can just validate the deployment, after deployment the new releases, with new releases any existing workflow or existing functionalities being broken, that thing also being tested on staging, and then once been validated will approve and will navigate to production, which is called continuous delivery. Now continuous deployment. In continuous deployment, each node change automatically built, tested and deployed to staging environment as a continuous delivery. There is no manual approval process and the code deployed to the production environment automatically. When you know that source code been fully patched and security is scanned, it will navigate to build, then build to staging, and then it navigate to the production. So this is called continuous deployment. Now we know about the AWS code pipeline. So code pipeline, as we learn about AWS code commit, then we learn about code build, then we learn about code deploy. Now in code deploy, we are supposed to be set up a code deploy and then set up that particular delivery to our ECS or EC2 or any of the configuration. So code pipeline is again a part of our AWS developer tool. Continuous delivery service of AWS to model, visualize and automate your software release process. You can model continuous deployment or continuous delivery to build, test your frequent changes to pre-production and production environment depending on your need, and you can integrate third-party tools like Jenkins, BlazeMeter, custom actions using AWS Lambda. Also, you can use AWS CodePipeline orchestration for your CI/CD workflow. So ultimately, AWS is having a fully fledged deployment process, or it includes all the developer tools where we can just manage these things very well. Now AWS pipeline concept. There are few concepts which we need to understand. First one is pipeline, a workflow describing how the software changes through a release process. It's basically workflow. Then source revision, the version of the source changes that triggered your pipeline, and it can be multiple revision flowing your pipeline at the same. Then we have stage, a group of one or more actions in the pipeline. In a stage where only one secure revision can be processed at a time. Then transitions, connections between two stages. It can enable or disable. Artifact, a file or a set of produce output and actions can be read and input by later action. And last is pipeline execution, a unique release of change by pipeline, and each pipeline has its own ID. So these are the AWS pipeline concept. And now how this pipeline works actually. So anyway, by googling and other will understand how it actually work by production scenarios, and we have the ready-made simulations. But ultimately we need to understand the logic of the AWS pipeline or any of the technology. So this is the logic for the pipeline. When you push your changes to source control or source location, your pipeline is created in a source revision. Whether you can use S3, AWS code commit, Git or Bitbucket or anyway. Then it triggered, automatically triggered. As it is an automation process, it will automatically trigger. One process being linked with the another, and the another link process with the third process. The source version revision deployed on the production environment. So here you can see whenever the code push to our source bucket or Git code commit, GitHub or Bitbucket, it will trigger and code pipeline, and then it deploy to S3, EC2, Fargate, Lambda, and many more. This is another diagram where we can just have more idea. Git push to code commit, source artifact will create using will for the further use of code build using ECR, and will using build spec will create a build artifact and deploy to ECS. Here whenever the version being changed of task definition, as we learn task definition on the prior video, it will automatically update to the services. Here we use ruling type. Also we can use blue-green deployment using services. How do ECS standard deployment works? So whenever as we already integrate our ECS with application load balancer with minimum 2 task definition. So whenever the deployment occur, it will create 2 more task definition. Once it's been fully fetched and fully running state, it will automatically remove the task 1, deployment 1, because we choose maximum 2 container as a running state, and automatically this 2 new container been part of our application load balancer, and the prior task definition container will be automatically removed. So this is the way how this ECS standard deployment works. Now this is again a template of build spec, how we need to be ready with our build spec, where we can just have phase pre-build, login with ECR, then use this Docker login to fetch the login, then tag that particular repository, build the command with latest tag. You can also use commit ID as instead of tag latest. Post build, it will commit your changes to ECR, and then we'll have image definition, which we need to use as a image definition to deploy that changes to the ECS. So we'll also put this file as an artifact in term of file, and the name of the image file is image definition.json. So you make sure that you will put a proper inbound the file, and they, validate that output to image definition.json. So we'll again validate this build spec when we have the practical scenario on this. Code pipeline will work with GitHub. It will upload your code build and to ECR. Whenever the change occurred on GitHub, it will create using Docker file. It will create a custom image, and upload with the latest tag on ECR, and same ECR will deploy to ECS. So now I'm stop this video, and the next topic will release with the practical scenario where we can just have our Angular project and upload deployed with the ECR, and that particular image will use as a source for the next rolling version of the ECS service. Hope you guys understand how this code, what is this code pipeline and how it works. So I'm continuing this portion with the next video on a practical scenario. So see you soon. Thank you very much, and kindly subscribe the channel.